Hello.
Hello, hello.
I like your hat, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a truly hat. And I walk around the neighborhood with it and I get all these looks like, ooh, that's a party mom.
A party mom?
Yeah, party mom.
An oxymoron, isn't it? So, are you allowed to wear branded merchandise?
Well, I was going to do this.
Okay. That's all right. We used to care about shit like that, but
Not anymore.
we support all of our customers equally. So, how's everybody doing? Do y'all keep hearing that noise? It happens about once per podcast. That
It's text.
It's text. Yeah, it's a text message.
Is that
incoming text message?
Is that for me? Am I getting text message?
I think that's a you question.
Hey, Millicent, will you turn your camera on, please?
I had an incident with my computer last night.
Can you explain?
I was talking to some friends of ours, and it was raining, and I was FaceTiming on my computer, and now about half the keys work. I can't get my camera on, so I'm not quite sure what exactly I've done. I crawled into the shiner, so.
West Coast. I mean, I'm sorry.
Gulf Coast. That was a Gulf Coast move. So now I can't figure out how to get my camera on or anything.
Okay, so what's ironic about that, and what y'all may not know, is that Millicent got a computer like a couple of months ago, and then finally she never opened it, and she was like, my computer works fine. I'm just gonna give this one back to you because my computer broke. So now I'm gonna have to give that computer back to Millicent.
I'm not very good with technology to begin with. So the fact that this computer's lasted me 2 years is shocking.
Gulf Coast. I mean, I saw on WSWR. What's the company that Brandy Rand works for?
IWSR.
What a horrible name for a company. I mean, why don't you just name it X4 squiggly line 45? I mean, it's like remembering passwords that people.
Line.
It's like Elon Musk's son.
Yeah. So,
which I still don't know how to say.
Astroglide, or what's his name?
Meet the Jetsons.
Astro was the dog, I thought, man. Well, speaking of dogs, we got our vice president of security here, looking lively. All right, so I was looking over some numbers from Brandy this morning, which, by the way, we haven't had Brandy speak in a while. We should probably bring her back. She was really good. We discovered Brandy Rand, by the way. All right, so I'm sorry, I'm stalling, as you can see, because I don't have it pulled up. So I'll put on some easy listening while you wait.
Oh gosh.
You'll be a woman soon, girl. You'll need a man. Anyway, did you guys know, Sarah, did you know that total beverage alcohol volume in the U.S. grew more last year than it has in the past 20 years?
Yes. Because I also saw this report.
Right.
And the biggest grower of the three categories was, of course, spirits. And
well, technically ready to drink, right?
Yeah.
Because they add, I always say like Brandy Rand or like IWSR, I guess they kind of like read the tea leaves a while ago with hard seltzer by putting it all with like RTD. They're like, no, this is all its own thing.
Yeah, I wonder why Nielsen and IRI haven't done that. Like, or have they? No, they haven't.
No, it's still, no, they still have like, they add the hard seltzer with beer and cider and FMBs, and they keep canned cocktails with spirits.
Yeah, they don't break out RTDs as one full category. Right. It's just hard seltzer.
They do, well, when they refer to RTDs, they do mean spirits.
Yeah.
I guess that's important to point out.
All right, so the U.S. market posted the largest volume increase for spirits since 1990, up 4.6%. And dollars up 7.7%. So within the category, this may surprise you. It won't surprise Sarah because she's already read it, but agave-based spirits grew 15.9%. This is volume. It is now the third largest spirits category in the U.S. behind vodka and whiskey. Cognac was also a big winner, up 20%. And both categories are expected to continue their growth path over the next 5 years. So whiskey is funny because the tariffs really fucked with whiskey. So like single malt Scotch is down 6%. And then the close of on-premise pulled down Irish whiskey. And then it's down 1%. And then total whiskey is still up almost 5%. So Japanese, Indian, and U.S. whiskeys are the fastest growing in that order. Because as we all know, for relaxing times, make it Suntory times. So wine kind of just eked out, barely grew at all. I think wine was the biggest loser, if you want to count losers during the pandemic. Low and no alcohol spirits and wine.
Yes and no for
doubled.
wine. I mean, they had like they've had a weird trajectory over the pandemic because they had that initial like huge spike with everybody returning to like dinner table and having more like table wine every day. And then like, sparkling did a weird where like it took a nosedive at the beginning and then was back up just a few months later and it's still like killing it. But it's still obviously behind other categories.
Right.
But I think something interesting with wine too is that had to have been, I would think, what people had on hand the most at their house.
Right.
I think so many people dipped into their cellars and drank a bunch of wine that they had stocked up and didn't really go out and seek a bunch of new wine because they thought, well, if the world's ending, I might as well drink some of this stuff I've been saving up forever, So
I know.
I don't know if they went out and bought a bunch of whole new wine as much as their wine consumption may have stayed the same.
Yeah, that's a good point. You forget about there's a lot of inventory of wine out there, unlike especially beer. And then beer itself, RTDs, of course, grew 62%, led by hard seltzers, which grew 130%. Hard seltzers represent 60% share of the total RTD category. I'm trying not to bore you guys, but this is interesting to me. As far as spirit-based canned cocktails, they launched at a higher price point due to taxes in the U.S., but volumes remain small compared to the traditional malt-based segment. However, several U.S. states have recently passed or are reviewing legislation to reduce spirit-based RTD tax reductions. So, it feels like we're kind of beating a dead horse on this subject, especially on the podcast about the tax equivalency differential, but that's really the hot topic right now. And don't worry, there'll be a new topic coming soon, I'm sure. But that, whenever there's a topic, we're like a dog with a bone. We grab hold and we don't let go. And of course it is June. I mean, one of the slower news months. So, there's not a lot going on. We'll just coast through till August and then we'll have news again. No, but, and Jenn, you talked to somebody too, at night shift about maybe?
Yeah, Rob Burns is going to be on Monday, hopefully. He's got, night shift has their finger in every pie. They make beer, they have all sorts of venues, they have a successful distributorship, small distributorship. They're in several markets in the Northeast, and they still have that little spat with Loverboy. So.
Oh, good. All right. We'll talk to them all about all of that. That's good. And that on the podcast, just so our listeners know, that our podcast is not an interview podcast. We're not interviewing people like we normally do. This is more about just talking about the beer industry. We're not going to say, so what were your numbers like last year? And that's not what we're going to be doing. That's for regular. That's for beer.
Like,
that's
for
our,
I might ask some substantive question. I can't help myself.
Well, I can't help myself editing it out either. So, I mean,
Or
we're not, this is not, no, I mean, if y'all want to do interviews, do them and record them, but the podcast is not an interview. I am saying that very, very strenuously that this is, we're talking about the beer industry, but we are not going to, ask about it. We can at the end and then write it up and not include it in the podcast. That's fine. We got to, the podcast is different from the publications. We got to make that very clear that this is, we're talking about the news. We're not making news. We're not reporting the news, in other words. But, this is all, who cares? We'll just let it go wherever it goes. I'm trying to control something that I have no control over.
I mean, what's wrong with a couple facts being woven in with the entertainment, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Gain some value, right? To add some value.
No, I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I don't necessarily think we need to add value.
This is just Harry's stand-up.
Such a good pitch. We're not adding value, but
yeah, definitely
listen
not
to
wanting to add value.
Well, I mean,
shooting the shit.
I mean, look at the pro tips we've offered. One is to put your children to sleep in 5 different voices, 2 of which are the same. Another which is to solve hunger by eating stray cats. Another is to stay away from oat milk. I mean, there are value adds that you do get from listening to the podcast.
Life hacks, Harry
hacks. And right, Biscuit's got her uniform on. You can see she's very proud. She's totally dead to the world because I gave her some CBD oil this morning. So she is chilling like Magellan.
Well, you know what? If you're getting low on your dog CBD oil, you can have my Martha Stewart CBD gummies because they don't do shit. Okay, so.
Well, at least Biscuit's CBD oil is Delta 8, so it actually does do something. It has some kind of something in it that makes her crazy. She walks into doors and shit. It's funny. Good stuff.
I heard Delta 8 didn't get banned in Texas. It's still free.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You can still buy it.
I just saw an Instagram post that said it was from a terrible, unreliable source. Well, one of Millicent's friends. It was Aaron Millicent. I saw Aaron says it's illegal. I got to stock up. So I stocked up, and now it's still legal.
No, I think it was supposed to get banned, and then they didn't get into legislation before the session ended. So, still around.
Well, I have plenty of it. If you needs it. Most guys like stock their fridge with like meat from the game that they've shot and hunted, and I stock mine with drugs, basically with CBD oil and doggy treat. Who wants a Scooby snack? You want a Scooby snack? Yeah, Jen, I don't know why you think people would want more content.
No idea. Well, we got some news.
I think you have news. What did you say?
Quasi substantive news. Millie and I made the decision to do a Driggers out in Vegas.
Yes.
Ooh.
No, trust me. I've already seen the bill. It's already come through on Amex this morning. You and Millicent are like drunk sailors on that are just that have been out to sea for 8 months and just gone on shore. And I swear,
that's the entire beer industry right now, Harry. We cannot wait to get together. It doesn't matter where it is. It could be the parking lot of the Barrett County Jail without walls.
Well, that's what we had our last Driggers. We had our last Driggers at a barren amphitheater under the sun.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Fry an egg on the ground, free food.
Jen.
Yes.
I'm with you. I'm glad. Caesar's Palace. We've already spent $900 on a cabana. That's just to hold it. That's just to hold it.
Harry, we need to see the people.
The peoples need to see us.
That's right.
Need to see people's.
That's right.
Well, we're very prepared. Sunday, October 3rd, we have 2 cabanas for drinkers.
Don't publicize it too much. I don't know if I can't afford to feed all these people and drink them.
Remember, there's no such thing as bad press, Harry. So if we somehow end up on the news for getting bum rushed at 2 cabanas at Caesar's Palace.
Oh my God. Well, at least it won't be hot. Oh.
October won't be as bad. You and Jordan are probably going to be pretty hot when y'all head there week after next.
Yeah.
The last time Harry and I went in the summer to
Why are
Vegas,
Jordan and I going?
it was like 117 degrees, and the planes couldn't take off because it was too hot because of the wheels. Do you remember that, Harry? Oh, it was absolutely, and it was in June or July. Y'all are going to the bar,
the nightclub and bar.
And bar. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You can try Jenny McCarthy's new RTD.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. I am a huge fan of Jenny McCarthy.
Of course you are. Why wouldn't you be?
Well, she's batshit crazy.
Oh,
and of course, everybody knows I love that, obviously, Melissa. and she's gorgeous. And I think, other than the vax craziness and all that, that just makes me adore her more.
That might actually be her base. Like this is seltzer for anti-vaxxers. Like I can't think of any other angle she has right now.
That's the only thing, keeping her in the spotlight still, I think.
So
the Blondie's bubbles does look pretty good. I think she may have something there.
No.
Jordan's a huge fan of Blondie's bubbles. He can't wait till it comes out. So Jordan,
you know what? I can't wait to try Hot Dad?
I can't.
Happy Dad.
I really can't wait to try it. Like, I love that their tagline on Instagram is "No more skinny can bullshit." Like, I die laughing at that.
That is funny. So is that's the YouTube guys, right? The
Nelk.
The Nelk boys. What's their
Full
motto?
Send. Full send.
Yeah.
Jordan, are you asleep? Because you're in a dark room, so it looks like you could be asleep if you wanted to be. Do you have blackout curtains that you're putting up right before the podcast?
No, both windows are open.
Yeah, well, your face is dark.
I have my ring light too. It's just a dark room.
Why can't they all be like us? Perfectly lit, perfectly mic'd, in a quiet, well-lit room. No song, no cars honking in the background. Like
I muted it when the dog started barking. I was like,
hey, I asked if I could be outside. You said fine.
No, Jen, you look. I love what I love about you, Jen, is that you are in a coffee shop with a trucker hat on. Just like you look like the total perfect Austin slacker.
Oh yeah, I look like the total.
There was a movie in the 90s that Richard Linklater put out called Slacker.
And yes, Gary, it's not like an obscure movie.
Okay, well, it was at the time. It was a cult. Nobody watched it because I remember when I was there when it was filmed. It was filmed in West Campus and in a house that was about 2 houses down from my house, and I didn't know who Richard Linklater was. He went on to become a famous Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, another sleepy movie.
Yeah, another movie nobody's ever heard of.
Come on. All right.
Obscure actors in that one.
By the way, I saw Matthew McConaughey was on a podcast yesterday. He was on the Black Rifle podcast yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Was he really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and guess what he was wearing? These exact reader glasses.
Nice.
Y'all are the exact same age. It's hard to believe.
I know. Isn't it weird? People
Did
get
I get you
confused.
those, or are those not the ones I got you?
No,
I got you some 2 years ago.
You got me Ray-Bans, but these are like actually reading glasses. They're just like, how reading glasses are like normally like these are the super cool kind. They're called Caddis. Yeah. And I noticed that McConaughey's been copied. He probably saw me on the pod.
That's true.
Definitely saw you on the pod.
That's right. So I remember my old boss at the beer distributorship where he wore glasses like this that are dark and then fade, like the 70s specials. These were so popular in the 70s and early 80s, and they're making a comeback, and I'm glad for it because I've got some wicked bags under my eyes the older I get, and these just really hide. I'm like Bono, just gonna wear some glasses to hide my eye game. And
eye game.
Your eye game.
Yeah. By the way, is there any time that you could watch anything on the internet without a Liberty Mutual ad coming
Oh
on.
God.
Liberty Bibberty.
Liberty, exactly.
And the ostrich and the guy, that's what reminded me because he's wearing glasses like this. But the ads must really be working well if they continue to spend at that level. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that even comes close to spending online than Liberty Mutual.
Well, YouTube is such a huge, I mean, I didn't realize this, but at that retailers conference last week, they were saying that like 80% of Gen Z visit YouTube every day, like more than they visit Instagram. And it's crazy.
Well, I don't know if you've ever listened to any of my speeches, Jen, but
No.
I've been saying that as a key component of my speeches for the last 3 years, that everybody ignores YouTube at their risk. YouTube is by far the biggest platform for Gen Y. Everybody talks about TikTok and all that bullshit. No, it's YouTube, baby.
It makes sense. I mean, it's so functional, right? Like, where do you go to get something to see anywhere on the internet? You're going to go first to YouTube. But
yeah,
I had no idea it was that big, right? Like, I knew it was big, but I didn't realize that that was the most relevant platform that the LDA coming of age kids are visiting every day.
Every day.
Yeah, that's what kids growing up want to be. YouTubers now.
Yeah.
We've gotten zero response to this podcast. I think people hate it, or they're just like,
that's not true. We get emails about it. They just seem kind of random because they'll be like answering something we talked about, but they'll just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well,
always fun. Always 30 minutes.
Yeah. Wyatt just texted me. Has Jen gotten me a job yet in Austin?
Dude, let me ask Bill again.
I know. I asked.
He's sending it up the ladder, but I'll ask him again. Because hey, I mean, I would love to be able to exploit your son, Harry. I'm on that.
Yeah, do it.
Please do. I'm like, Wyatt, have you gotten yourself a job?
Oh, he's just a baby bear. He can't get his own job. No, he's daddy's bear. Just a baby. All right. When you raise your children wrong on purpose as a joke, they sometimes they don't turn out as well as you want them to. But, Jordan, what's the number one rule in the beer industry that is always there?
Number one rule? Respect the 3-tier. I don't know.
That's a good start. Good start.
That's pretty good.
No, what am I going to have on my tombstone?
Oh, beer is heavy relative to its price.
That is right. And you brought up something in the podcast that was interesting, that cannabis is the opposite. Cannabis is very light relative to its price. Like an ounce is like $400, right?
Yeah. On the black market, yeah.
Right, and even more. So, and so my point is that we keep talking about distribution of cannabis products, and right, for the sake of we're talking about THC products now. If and when it becomes legal. So, the thing is that it is so expensive relative to its price. So I don't think that really. I think the end game, it's not going to be distributed to retailers. It's going to be distributed directly to the consumer because it's so expensive relative to its weight that the economics are definitely there that you can distribute it directly to the consumer. And pot is something that I'm not sure you want to go out and shop for as much. You would rather have it delivered once you know what you like. So I'm not sure that every C-store in the country necessarily needs to have weed. I think that alcohol is already going in that direction, delivery to home, and it's going through the 3-tier system. And what's interesting to me is that we've been harping and crying and clawing our eyes out for 30 years about direct shipping, and nature finds a way, right? And technology has figured out a way to do direct shipping legally. And it's kind of like, I remember back when I was growing up, like in elementary school, they were like, the world is going to run out of food at the current rates by 2010.
Yeah.
We'll get, of course we didn't run out of food. Why? Because technology's caught up with this and we can create more food with less land. And, we're going to find a way, right? We're not just going to run out of food. We're not going to let that happen. And that's, people want things shipped to their homes. It's going to happen and you can find a way.
So you think like the Drizzly lantern and like the ease and all that direct to consumer is going to be one of the main venues for cannabis?
Yes, absolutely. That is exactly what I think. I think that this thing is going to be shopped by app.
Yeah,
not by going to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, and if you think about loading up like a truck bed full of weed, I mean, that should honestly be more of a Brinks truck than anything, because that is a lot of money in a small space that somebody could hold you up and take off. I mean, it's not like alcohol at all.
Right, because you can't just carry off alcohol. It's heavy.
Yeah. But even just a truck bed full of weed, that you're asking to get robbed.
That's a couple hundred. Yeah, you're right. Interesting.
Yeah, I think you're definitely onto something there, you guys. The only thing I would say is that's going to be a lot of cars, right? It's still going to have to be a large-ish car to be efficient in those routes, on demand. I mean, think of all the people who would want it delivered to them and how much that's going to cost and how long that's going to take. And so I think you're right, but somebody needs to figure that out.
Well, maybe it'll be more of like the GoPuff model where they just have like the fulfillment centers or whatever, not necessarily using like actual retail locations.
Yeah, but then
I
still
think
for the
that's
last mile. What about the last mile? Like,
yeah, but Jen, they're delivering chewing gum to the last mile right now. So I mean, the margins on weed are so much larger than the margins on dog food or whatever else you're buying online. So yes, it definitely works. The math works.
Need more efficiencies, like, so then maybe it's a route, right? Like maybe you get it within 2 days or something because they have to amass enough orders, right? Because if it's a one-to-one, if it's like a Drizzly, and I don't know how Lantern works, we should actually do a deep dive on Lantern, right? But
sure.
I would think it would have to be a little more efficient than your Drizzly model. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then there's cars going back and forth all the time to one person, one order, one person, one order. I don't know. That seems like, I do think you're right. I think generally that's the idea, but how are they going to make that work?
Yeah. I mean, people are here's the thing is, it's hard to break habits, and people are used to having their weed delivered. In states where it's illegal still. I mean, that's how I get my weed. I don't go out and buy it.
And that will continue to be a perk for people, even when it is legalized. If they can't deliver, or if there's no infrastructure for them to deliver, then they'll just continue to call up their dealer and get it straight at their house.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I have a perfect system. I leave the cash in the little pocket in the wheelchair in my yard.
So that's why the wheelchair is still there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's nobody suspects it. No, the cops, the security guards, like, surely that old man isn't doing drug deals in the wheelchair.
Harry,
well, now
they
they
have a federal license.
Biscuit doesn't like to talk about it because she doesn't like to break the law, right, Biscuit?
Well, as head of security, I would hope not.
Biscuit's got to stay sharp at all times. Right, Biscuit? Look at her. She's so excited to be on the podcast again. Look at her. She's so excited. Yeah. All right. Okay. So tomorrow, I'm going to talk to Jim McGreevy later today, so I'll have some more news on the New Jersey deal that I'll write up, and I'm also working on a piece about distributors being held up for ransomware for cybersecurity.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big issue that nobody's talking about, and we'll talk about that on the pod tomorrow as well once I get it written up, do a little research. And then we'll have some guests next week. Boy, that is annoying. Are you sure that's me?
Are you getting texts right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're sure.
Oh, it's Wyatt. Hey, can you send money to my debit card? it's negative money, so it keeps charging it a fee.
Negative money.
I love the pronouns in this sentence. Listen to this sentence. Hey, can you send money to my debit card? So that in itself sounds a little off, right? Like send money to the debit card. It's negative money. So it keeps charging it a fee. So like the debit card to me, to Wyatt, seems like a person, like it's his roommate. Can you send money to debit card? Like it's a person. Debit card is negative money. So it keep charging debit card fee. Like the debit card, poor debit card. I need to send debit card money. Debit card's not doing well.
Really want to hire that guy. Maybe I'll have him.
Oh my God. Why, God, what do I do to get a job there for this summer? I already want to fucking go to either Austin or New York. Call me, see about my interning.
Yeah, I'm gonna hire you to get me hired.
The first thing we're going to have to do is make him not illiterate. So that's Jenn, that's your job this summer. If you
sweet, add it to the list.
But you know, if Billy can't hire him, you know what? Oh, I have an idea.
Oh no!
Don't.
Jenn, he could just work for you.
No.
I already knew that was coming.
He's in Austin already. Y'all can go to that coffee house together.
He doesn't know pronouns.
I mean, that's a perfect way to learn how to use pronouns.
Is to work for your father's leading bev-alc trade publication.
They're not down in dollars. They're negative money.
Your industry needs money. Please send money to your industry.
Listen, he has a new way of communicating. It cuts out all the bullshit.
Yeah.
Debit card, need money. Send money to debit card. Debit card charging fee.
Laugh now, but they see. They see.
He says negative money. And I like how he says that. So I'm assuming the bank, keeps charging debit card late fee. He doesn't know that he is the debit card. They're not charging debit card fee. They're charging him the fee.
Harry, why don't you reach out to our buddies at Future Proof or Brown Distributing or something like that?
That's a good idea.
See if they would get him driving a truck, get him doing some merchandising, see how he likes it.
Millie, that's fantastic.
That's not a bad idea.
It's really not.
Harrison did that, and Hunt. They both worked as Hunt worked as a draft technician and Harrison worked as a merchandiser.
See, there you go. Call Lori Brown.
Todd, talk about hot summer. I'd like to get him out of Austin, to be honest with you.
Really?
Harrison spent his junior summer in New York.
Yeah, but that was also before COVID. Him going to New York, I don't think would be super smart right now.
Well, I don't know. I'm still sending them.
Why don't you just drop them off at the ranch with all the Black Rifle coffee people?
I know.
Have fun. Pick you up and see what happens.
He actually has gone out there and partied with them before. He wasn't allowed to. He snuck out there, and JT called me. He's like, your 18-year-old son's out here drinking beer. Is that cool? I was like, yeah, I guess so. If he doesn't drive. Father of the year. Yeah. I guess so. As long as it didn't bother me on a Friday night. All right. All right, guys. So thanks. And I want to thank you guys for drinking beer. And we'll talk tomorrow.